What up? This is Rama Screen, and in the anticipation of Enhance, which arrives on demand and on VOD March 26th, I'm here talking with the stars of this new sci-fi action film, George and Alanna. How are you, George and Alanna?
Wonderful, thank you.
Great.
Awesome. Let's start with you, George. I'm a huge fan of The Expanse, by the way. So
Thank you.
this is not your first rodeo with science fiction. What drew you to Enhance? How did you get on board this project?
Um, what drew me to Enhance? I would have to say, beyond the script and the story and getting to play a guy named George, it was really the director James Mark that enticed me to be on this project. I've known James a long time, and I've always been watching him, go from stunt coordinator to director and fulfill that role, and he fills those shoes really well. So getting to work with him in that capacity was exciting because as a director, I think he's incredible.
And Alanna, you've also had your share of experiences in this genre, having starred in Killjoys, which was a fun series, by the way. So, as far as sci-fi action goes, what do you think makes Enhance unique or stands out compared to what you've previously done before?
Yeah, it's definitely in the sci-fi genre. I've never done anything that was so action heavy I've never done anything with any stunts involved. So that was a huge learning curve. I think also what makes this action movie so special is that it doesn't feed into the stereotypical tropes of action heroes, especially for a woman being the action protagonist. I really enjoyed sort of playing against that stereotype and finding Anna to be so kind and empathetic, who just so happens to be one of the most powerful human beings on this earth.
Let me follow up on that. Specifically, Anna is badass, but in a reluctant hero kind of way. Alanna, what was your process of embodying this character? And did you draw inspiration from other on-screen female heroines?
I tend to not do a deep dive, and I think that it informs me in a sort of negative way if I try and emulate someone else. And because what is available to consume in terms of female leads in action movies, it's pretty stereotypical. And so I didn't try to study one specific person or emulate one specific person. Also, there was no time to do research. I got the role and we started filming immediately.
Nice. And George, your character, coincidentally also named George, he strikes me as one of those heroes who initially aren't quite sure yet which side so he's supposed to be defending. Is my assessment correct there, or and what was your process of inhabiting this man?
For me, that was the interesting part of this character is like, sometimes you can be a good person and be working for someone really bad and not know it and think that you're doing the right thing and think that you're helping and think that your mission is just. And so in the first bit of the movie, I'm doing my job and feeling good about it. It's only when I realize that the job I'm actually doing isn't that good that I start to change. And that's where I start to learn through Alanna's character, what's happened to her, what these enhanced subjects are experiencing and what they go through and how they became that way. And once I realize it's a freak show, a mad science test going on, then he shifts. He's still the same guy, but his priority shifts from, serving this higher power to empowering this girl and helping her thrive and get away and get out into the world and be.
I'm a huge fan of action in general, and I really enjoy the fight sequences in this film, especially the one in the cabin that you guys had. I mean, Alanna, you were awesome in that scene. So, both of you, talk to me. How much or how strenuous were your physical training or rehearsals prior to cameras started rolling, and what were some of the fighting styles incorporated in this movie?
In terms of training, I came in very green. I didn't know anything, and I think it was actually a good thing, because I was starting from such a basic base that all of the stunt choreographers could sort of build me up to what the choreography needed. So in terms of training, I had a week before we started production to learn the choreography, and then throughout filming, just stolen moments here and there to tweak and refine and go over and implement all of the moves that we would be shooting in 20 minutes or the next day. But I'll let George talk about the types of or the style of fighting. He knows more. He's more well versed than I am.
Stop it. For the action style, definitely there's a heavy martial arts element to it. I think anytime people are fighting in an elevated fashion, you sort of have to incorporate martial arts, at the same time making it still look like fighting and not like Crouching Tiger. One of the things that makes James and his team so magnificent is how they shoot action and their understanding of it. And so when they approach a fight, it's almost pre-edited. They know the shots, they know the angles, they know what works from where. And so the process of shooting these fights wouldn't be as strenuous as you might think, because we're not shooting it from top to bottom where we're doing the entire thing all the way. We just do piece and the piece and the piece and the piece. And so you can go 3-4 moves at a time. And this way we don't get burned out, and then the camera is seeing really what it needs to see, and nothing is wasted. And so the combination of all those things, the training and developing the fighting style, and then how it's captured as well, all is what allowed us to achieve that level of action in such a short period of time. That, and of course the super high caliber stunt team that we had, Team 2X, which was actually trained by James and his brother Chris Mark, who's our fantastic villain in the film as well. These guys are super high level martial artists. They understand action very well. It's like drinking water for them. And so without that, this movie cannot be made, not on a schedule like that or a budget like that.
Science fiction often brings up underlying theme of the question of whether or not mankind are worth saving, and maybe the only thing that truly matters at the end of the day is just accumulating as much powers and ruling over others. So let me end with this final question for both of you. Profound question. In your honest opinion, does science fiction preach of mankind's self-destruction, or does science fiction preach of mankind's capability for redemption?
I'm going to say 100% capability of redemption. I think that even in the most strenuous and high stakes circumstances, I think that people really pull through, and you see what heart they do have. And even just to bring it back to this movie, the villain in it, there is a moment of redemption, which takes my character by surprise. And I think that as a person, I am a complete optimist, and I hope that everyone is as altruistic and good as I see them to be. So I'm going to go with complete redemption.
Absolutely. I would have to say redemption as well. I think one of the key elements, tenets of the science fiction world is definitely that no one is beyond redemption, that no matter how bad you are, no matter what you've done, if there's a little bit of good in there, then we can extract more. You can always become better. You know, it's like the never-ending system of reform. You know, every day you try to just be a little bit better. And it's interesting because that dynamic is really represented by the George character and Alanna's character, because she thinks he's bad because he's chasing her. He thinks she's bad because she's a mutant. She sees that he's not all that bad and starts to trust him, and he sees that she's not all that dangerous and tries to help her. And so without that redemption theme, without having that lens where we're always trying to find what's good in that person, then there's nothing to exploit. And so it's that transformation and that understanding and coming together, and we form a team that really drives the film. Yeah.
All right. For my fans at home, everybody go check out Enhance, arriving on demand and on VOD March 26. George and Alanna, thank you so much for talking to me, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.